Grand Rising Soul Fam. So today I am coming on to share a message from the Tao Oracle. Today looking at Gene Key 17, which is the shadow of opinion, the gift of farsightedness, and the city or the divine expression of omniscience. And according to the Tao by Ma Deva Padma, this is the hexagram of following. There is the imagery and a couple of keywords: loyalty, adaptability, cooperation, trust, reliability, sensitivity to others, service, and receiving guidance. So let's check it out. The old I Ching text counsels that in order to lead, one must know how to follow. There's an art to both. They depend upon one another to exist. Without followers, leaders would have no one to lead and would serve no purpose. Without leaders to look up to as teachers and guides, followers would be without role models for their highest aspirations. The best teachers are selflessly devoted not to what is being taught, but to those under their tutelage. Ultimately, their task is to catalyze understanding and self-awareness. The best leaders keep it always in mind that the ultimate goal is to finally set each follower firmly on his or her own individual course. This process can never conform to a set of uniform rules or guidelines. It must unfold naturally in order to meet the unique needs of the individual. The problem is, of course, that this synchronicity between leaders and followers is extremely rare. More often we see leaders exploiting people for their own ends and followers following someone because they're unwilling to take responsibility for their own lives. Gathering followers for the sake of expanding one's own personal power and influence is self-aggrandizement of the worst kind. It's parasitic to prey on others in order to fulfill one's own ambitions. Manipulating people in order to force their compliance creates an undercurrent of mistrust that eventually undermines any good intentions. On the other side of the coin, it's vital to stretch beyond the known in order to grow and realize our fullest potential. And finding a good role model can often give us the courage we need to make the stretch. This has little to do with how old we are, as there is no set time in life when it's appropriate to seek a mentor. Experimenting with different philosophies and approaches is the only way to find out what works best for you. But in your quest for guidance, it's important to stay in touch with the voice of inner truth that intuitively senses when something or someone is sincerely working for the good of all, rather than from the darker motives hidden behind a manipulative sales pitch. Follow your heart above all else. It requires absolute honesty and sincere self-scrutiny to discern the difference between being swept up emotionally by one's own needs and hearing the voice of sincere inner guidance. The former usually demands a good deal of enthusiasm to bolster courage. The latter, on the other hand, can feel like water rolling off a duck's back, or a kind of inevitability where everything seems to fit together like pieces in a puzzle, revealing a bigger and truer picture. The best way to know that you're following truth is to check out whether what you are doing provides a deep sense of meaning and purpose to life, however challenged you may feel at times. So I love sharing this because it can just really take us to our microcosm or what we see happening on the world stage. So bottom line, the changes. Bottom line, first, line one is, there are times to withdraw into your own inner silence to find the truth. And there are times when it's helpful to seek out the truths of others in order to broaden your own perspective. Now is the latter sort of time, when you can benefit from listening attentively and respectfully to world points very different from your own. It doesn't mean you have to abandon your own principles, but the exchange will enrich your own understanding of the present circumstances. I love this advice. How often do we put ourselves in a room with somebody, with a whole community having a different opinion, and we just learn to build the muscle of empathy by just hearing it? I recommend everybody does this. Line two. To follow the truth despite one's own preconceived ideas requires deep trust that can surrender whatever you might have up until now considered to be mine. It means suspending judgments and persevering even though what you ask to do might not make sense rationally. On the other hand, following must never be blind. It must be alert and sensitive, have depth and integrity. Otherwise, it represents little more than becoming a sheep. Line 3. Following can mean joining another on the path toward yourself. Loved ones and friends can be disturbed by what they perceive as a preoccupation with something they don't understand. They can become angry or fearful at what seems to them to be your withdrawal from the way things used to be. There will probably be points at which your principles and the choices you make will be challenged. But standing your ground will bring benefits far beyond any apparent losses you might face as a consequence. Line 4. Maintaining too tight a hold over anyone is a transgression of their freedom. It denies them the opportunity to learn through experiencing the open book of life. If you find yourself getting inflexible, uptight, unable to bend with the changes, it's a sign that you've given your own set of ideas preference over the pulsating requirements of life. Line 5. If you're willing to settle for second best, chances are you'll get it. If, on the other hand, you can allow yourself the possibility that even the most impossible dreams can come true, this is Pisces season. The word itself says I'm possible. Every step will take you closer to the realization of those dreams. There's a Will Smith quote that I love that essentially says, don't have a plan B, because a plan B says that you have some bit of lack of confidence that plan A is going to work out. If you have a full commitment into plan B, or plan A, then there's no need for a plan B. This is the struggle in life. Can you have a plan A and then carry it oh so lightly that it could blow away at any moment and that would be okay? Top line, line 6, the wild card. Finding yourself in a leadership position can be daunting. If you truly deserve such a position, you will be aware that it carries with it responsibilities that can be burdensome if they're not managed in the right way. Remain unencumbered by personal motivations and attachment to outcomes, and focus on doing whatever you can to bring others to the place where they can lead themselves. Hallelujah! We are all bringing heaven to earth right now. So maybe we are all getting to show up as leaders, no longer following the herd, but following our inner guidance system and believing in a new dream. Sending you so much love